Hello you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you did not already know, my name is Hannah and I teach high school science in the wonderful Sunshine State of Florida. Wow, it feels weird to say that. It has been so long. I feel like since I've given like my actual genuine intro. If you guys didn't know, and you can't tell by looking around, I switched schools or high schools that I taught at this summer, and it has been literally such a blessing. This has been so much of a better fit. So if you didn't know, I originally taught in a very rural community, Title I school. I would say my focus was more teaching children how to be nice, how to be kind and courteous, like life skills, opposed to teaching them the curriculum. And teaching at an environmentally friendly charter school where the kids all had to apply to be here. For the most part, they want to be here. So it has been literally such a blessing. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I'm back on my Dunkin' Donuts addiction. My students from my last school literally said I drank so many of these I was going to die. The Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee mocha flavor is amazing. I have switched to a new coffee, but you know what? It was not available at the grocery store last time I went, so I had to go back to Dunkin's for the week. But I wanted to hop on here today because I've actually been getting several requests for this, and this has actually probably been one of my most requested videos since I started my YouTube channel and Instagram. I did start my teacher Instagram when I was very first starting to teach. I'm kind of bummed because when I look back at my teacher Instagram, one of my biggest regrets is I did not post that much on like the timeline of the Instagram. I mostly did stories. So I did not post that many like pictures and realities and and stuff basically from my first semester of teaching, probably because I was so overwhelmed and so sick all the time, because any first year teacher knows like what a roller coaster. But yeah, that was kind of that. So starting at semester 2 or with the new year, that's when I created my YouTube channel, which is when I met all of you wonderful people. Unless you're new, if you're new, welcome, like, subscribe, do what you got to do. We are on the road to 2,000 followers on both Instagram and on YouTube actually. But like I said, this is probably one of my most requested videos, which blows my mind that you guys are actually interested in this. So many people ask me like, how did you become a teacher? What was your transition to teaching? I find that there's so many people who are kind of like me. So I wanted to walk you guys today through my story of how I came to be a teacher, the process to become a teacher, yada, 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 all that good stuff. So I went to college with every intention to be a nurse. When I was entering college, that was a stage where everyone was like, I'm going to be a doctor and a lawyer. There was nothing in between. I went to college, started studying I did not start studying nursing, but I went to college, and to become a nurse, you have to take like biology, chemistry, you know, the core science classes. And my mom was actually really encouraging that instead of me getting a nursing degree right to start off the bat, because when you go to college, if you do want to become a nurse, you take specialized biology classes, specialized chemistry classes. You take different like freshman year classes than you would as a biology major. And so my mom was actually really encouraging, maybe my dad too, was actually really encouraging that I just declare myself as a biology major. This way, if I decided maybe that wasn't for me, I could easily transition to other career goals. Like if I wanted to become a doctor, I could go the doctor route with a biology degree. If I wanted to become an actual scientist, like I would have the degree for that. If I wanted to teach it, I would have the degree for that. So I don't know if that was like a little foreshadowing, like they knew I wasn't cut out to be a nurse, but they were really encouraging of that. And so that is what I did. So my freshman year, I don't know why I chose this. Like I genuinely have no idea. If you've been following me for a long time, you maybe know I was actually born and raised in Austin, Texas. Well, born Dallas, but born and raised Austin, Texas, Florida. Born Dallas, raised Austin, Texas, Florida. And my parents moved to Michigan, middle school, high school age for me. So obviously Michigan just like was not my jam. If you are someone from Michigan, like I'm sorry, it's too cold there over the winter. My high school experience was fine. I just moved to a community where a lot of people have been friends their whole life, which is such a blessing for them, but it's like kind of weird to break into. So I never really felt like Michigan was like home. I was always kind of ready to do the next thing. But if you graduate from a Michigan high school, you end up going to a Michigan college because that's where in-state tuition is. So I was going to a college in Michigan, getting my biology degree. And over the summer, I was just thinking, like, how can I get out of Michigan? How can I get out of Michigan? Yada, yada, yada. And I stumbled upon this program. It's called the Gulf Coast Research Lab, GCRL. I highly recommend it if you are going the marine biologist route. And it is a satellite campus through the University of Southern Mississippi where they teach marine science classes. So they offer shark and bryology, dolphin and whale behavior, invertebrates, vertebrates, marine science 2, ichthyology. I mean, they just teach all the marine biology classes you could possibly need to become a marine biologist. And so for me, I saw that, I was like, wow, a way to get out of Michigan, work on the water, like what a dream. So that, when I found that program, that was kind of the first moment where I was like, I think I want to be a marine biologist. So I go down there over the summer, and those classes, of course, counted towards like my graduating credit. So it was definitely well worth the investment. Lab where I took dolphin and whale behavior and I took marine biology. Came back to my regular campus, did my whole sophomore year there, and then went back down to that same campus where I took coastal ornithology, I took shark biology, and then I did an internship. And it was amazing because you're at this college or satellite campus where everyone there is marine biology heavy, fieldwork heavy, like you are just making this amazing network. I literally still talk to these people that I went to this college with to this day, like whether it's just liking each other's stuff on Facebook or whether it's like being references for each other as we apply for jobs. Like that has just been a phenomenal network. I was after my second summer at that college campus, satellite campus, just working on the boat every day, engaging with the stuff, hands-on learning, like literally just the most amazing experience. I would totally recommend it to anyone who was interested in becoming a marine biologist. One of the TAs there, she kind of saw that I wasn't really ready to go back to regular college yet. I was having too much of a good time. I mean, I was having fun, I was engaged in the stuff, and I wanted to keep going. Like I wasn't ready to go sit in a regular classroom anymore. And she suggested I apply for this internship. She had known someone there, because marine biology is all about who do you know. I mean, I feel like that's any job field in this world. It's all who you know. So she recommended I fill out an application for a free internship in the same town. It was through a dolphin research facility, and they offered, you know, an internship every 3 months basically, and it was unpaid. They paid for just your groceries, like $40 a week, which what am I supposed to do? Eat ramen and like Pop-Tarts every day? Did that, but it was definitely interesting. I believe they provided housing, I think, or it was like a super discounted rent, but I went and worked there, and honestly, like, if you're going to become a marine biologist, at least when I was in college, you had to do a unpaid internship or a unpaid whatever, or a long-term like volunteer job to even get your foot into the door. So that was something that I had to do, and it was absolutely amazing. Like that job we focused on, you know, every month we would go out on the water. Probably for the first 2 weeks there was like 7 routes that we did, and we had to monitor the different, how many dolphins were out there, what behaviors we were seeing, stuff like that. The rest of the month we would kind of work on compiling all in this international database, doing dorsal fin ID, which was really, really cool. We also got to be there for the stranding, rescue, and rehab of 2 pilot whales. You can literally Google like pilot whale rescue and rehab Mississippi, and it'll probably come up. My picture will probably pop up too. We also had to help with like sea turtle nests, stuff like that. So it was really, really cool. It was a really good eye into the world of marine biology, what it would be like working for a facility like that, and just kind of opened my eyes to the private industry of marine biology, and what type of jobs were out there. So that was really cool. And the best piece of advice I got there from my boss was, you want to sit, or the more time you want to spend in an office should match how much school you do. So if you want to spend like half your time to a fourth of your time out in the field, get a master's. If you want to spend like an eighth of your time out in the field, get a PhD. And so that was kind of the moment that I realized I want to be done after my undergrad. I do not want to get a master's. I want to be outside. That's what matters to me. I don't care for data analysis. I don't care for writing research papers. Like, that's just not my jam. What I want to do is be outside, like that college that I was at. So at that point, it's December. I go back to my college in Michigan, finish out one final semester. I graduated in 3 years because I brought in a lot of AP credits, and my college gave me internship credits. So while I was down there working for free, I earned an entire semester's worth of credits because my internship was so intense. And because I took all those summer classes. So that was amazing to graduate after 3 years. After that, I used one of my connections at the Dolphin Research Facility to get myself a job in San Juan Island. This is in Washington. It is absolutely gorgeous. I worked for a whale watch company, which was so different than anything I'd done. This was the first time that I was doing like solely education without a research aspect to it. And that was really cool. It was a seasonal job. Didn't really learn a lot. I learned a lot about like those ecosystems out there because technically you were like a naturalist. So like I said, that was really cool, but you just work a bunch of seasonal job until you can get that final career. So unfortunately, my time was not up with the seasonal jobs. The seasonal jobs are obviously super cool. Like, I got to work in Mississippi. I got to work in Washington. My next place I worked was Alaska. If you've seen my story times about Alaska, you know. And if you haven't, go watch them. I have two. I have one kind of more like answering questions about being an observer in Alaska, and then one of like more of my funny story times. Watch my funny story times. If you are a marine biologist person or aspiring to be a marine biologist, I would check out the questions I answer about that observing job, because a lot of marine biologists do enter the observing career at some point. So as a marine biologist, you do your unpaid internship, you do a seasonal job or two, and you're still not getting that career. You're not getting that contract. You're not getting that salary yet. The world of marine biology is super saturated with people. It's a fun job. Of course, people want to do it, so it's really hard to break in. So the next thing I went and did was I was a fisheries observer in Alaska, which if you don't know what that means, it basically just means you go live and work aboard commercial fishing vessels in Alaska. I did king crab out of Dutch Harbor, Alaska, which is the boats you see in Deadliest Catch. It is exactly like the TV show Deadliest Catch. Like I said, go listen to my story times about that, because that was an experience and a half. And that's an interesting job as a marine biologist because it's a daily pay. It's not an hourly pay. Because if you watch the show Deadliest Catch, you know those boys wake up, work, sleep 30 minutes, work, sleep an hour, work, sleep 3 hours, work. So you're not on like a regular work day at all. In fact, many days you're working like 17 hours. And you're obviously living where you work. So they paid you a daily rate, and like based on how long you stayed with the company, your daily rate would go up and up and up and up. What I will say about that job is it was fun. Not really. Go listen to my story time. Like, it was literally crazy. It was the craziest experience of my life. Honestly, when people ask me like, oh, should I do it? I had a few people ask me after I finished my experience out there. They're like, what do you think? Like, do you think I should try this? My genuine response is like, no, don't. Like, I hated it. It was not for me. But I will say, after that job, I did not have a single problem getting a career-like job. Like, I was just getting offers and interviews left and right. So I took an interview with Florida Fish and Wildlife. I had this amazing job where I kind of began melding the world of marine biology and education. So for my entire career, besides my time in Washington, I was a marine biologist. I mean, maybe there was little educational aspects to all those other jobs, but not really. It was more like once a month you need to give a talk or something like that. So the full-time job that I got with Florida State, or the state of Florida, was working for the state organization that taught people how to fish, about marine fisheries, about fisheries management. So I spent half of my time doing that, and I spent the other half of my time actually being an active part of the marine fisheries management sampling crew. So I was literally doing half and half education, half research, and it was the most amazing meld, and I loved it so much. But it is definitely like a stepping stone job. Like, that is not a job you work for your entire life. The money's not there, and sample or like field work is hard on your body. Like, there's a few people there who have done it literally their entire lives, and like, talk about some bosses right there. I'm like, I couldn't do it, but kudos to them. Those are some really good people. The best advice that I got while working for the state was from my boss, one of my bosses there. He was the field biologist, and he said to me, leave your work behind. Like, do not bring it home. Don't bring the stress of it home. Don't bring work home. Don't bring the work drama home. He's like, just leave it all behind. Go home, live your regular life, and when you come back to the work the next day, you can start work again. And that was genuinely the best advice someone has ever given me for work. Especially someone like me, I tend to always be like, how can I better myself? How, what more can I be doing? Stuff like that. So that was huge. But that is kind of where the teaching started getting introduced for the first time ever. So, well, I guess it wasn't the first time ever, because between seasonal jobs, sometimes I'd go be like subs at schools, which is minimal pay. But so maybe that was the first time I was really getting classroom time, was subbing. But I mean, it was subbing for like maybe 4 days here, 4 days there, like nothing fancy at all. And while I was working for the state, I was often asked by schools to come to their school and do a presentation, come to their school, do a dissection, come to their school and do this. And I was writing like curriculum or programs and content like that, stuff like that, for schools. So I was kind of easing my way into the school environment, and I was just totally in love with it. I knew it was time to switch to becoming a teacher when the days I looked forward to the most were the days I was in the classroom at schools. Teaching full-time. So in the state of Florida, you can apply for something called Transition to Teaching, which is a program that states like anywhere or any subject that your degree is in, so if mine's in biology, you can teach biology at the high school level. So with that comes environmental science, yada, yada, yada. And so during your Transition to Teaching program, you take a test that shows like, are you sufficient or not sufficient? Then you maybe have to take some college classes. I'm doing mine all online. They're a week long. Yeah, they cost a lot of money. It is what it is. You take a professional test that basically says like, yeah, I know how to be a teacher. Like, I know how to fill out teacher forms. I know how to talk to people in the teacher way, use the teacher words, stuff like that. And then the last kind of aspect of the transition to teaching is, the general knowledge test. This is where most teachers in Florida really, really struggle. It's a really hard test. I didn't have to take it because I had taken the GRE when I was in college, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to end after my undergraduate or potentially go to graduate school. So luckily my GRE score was able to count towards my general knowledge test. If you are a teacher and you in the state of Florida and you haven't passed your general knowledge test, maybe try taking the GRE. You might be able to score higher, and then you can use that to override your general knowledge tests. So if you are someone who's like thinking about becoming a teacher, or someone who's thinking about becoming a marine biologist, go for it. You can change your career later. When you get your first job, get your first salary job, work your first unpaid internship, whatever it is, you are not marrying yourself to that position at all. Even the field, you can do anything. People career change all the time, and I think my life would be very boring if I had stuck with the same job through my entire time. Let alone, who knows what they want to do at 18 years old. 18-year-old me wanted to be on a boat. But that is all I have for you guys. So like, please feel free to leave me any comments. Comments, questions, comment them down below. Send the questions to my Instagram DMs. It's @blissfulbiologist. I'm so happy to answer your questions, especially if you're considering marine biology or teaching, or you're transitioning. If you're transitioning, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is go to your state's Department of Education website and figure out the process, because every state's going to be different. In Florida, it's Transition to Teaching, and it's a 3-year process. But that's it. Honestly, the transition has been hard in the aspect of the test and the college work and the extra district meetings, but it is totally outweighed by how much I love this job and like how much job satisfaction I have at the end of the day when I get in my vehicle and drive away. So I highly recommend it. Seriously. But seriously, text me or not text me, comment down below or DM me with any questions that you might have, or if you have other questions that you want me to make a whole nother video about. But until then, I will see you guys next time. And for those who are my loyal vlog watchers, thank you guys so much. And I'll see you later.